People in this town get weirdly attached to their antiquated dogmas. I don't think it's a sign of weakness to evaluate new science and new information and new tech and come to different conclusions.
The Republican Party has long been known as the party of climate change denial, but some GOP lawmakers are coming around to the idea that climate change is caused by humans and requires intervention.
I believe climate change is real.
This is real. This is real. And if you don't want to use the word climate change, you don't have to use the word climate change, but just come up and take a look.
Well, I think there's a noticeable difference. I find that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, in part, are coming to the middle, so to speak, so as to meet us and address some of those items.
I'm known in this town as a guy willing to take up a lot of different arguments and go make them, but I didn't come to Congress to argue with a thermometer. And I think that more of my colleagues need to realize that the science of global warming is irrefutable.
I don't know if there's a shift as a party, but I do know that there are some members who are really interested. Congressman Rooney is a good example, someone who's really interested in working together.
So what's bringing some Republicans to the middle? Public sentiment, generational shifts, and the military have all played a role.
When I look at climate change, it's in the category of sources of conflict around the world and things we'd have to respond to.
I still encounter Republicans who don't believe in climate change, and I ask them, what about the U.S. military's proclamations on this subject do you not believe? The military doesn't have the political luxury to deny what is happening before us, and I wonder why there would be anyone in Congress who wouldn't believe them.
I sense that the general public is really driving this issue. They understand now it's well beyond polar bears, which we need to have a concern for. It's in their backyard. I think all of that is motivating both sides of the fence, but I feel this coming together with Republicans joining in with some of the solutions at this time.
I followed a lot of the research that was done globally in the early and mid-90s on climate change, and at that time there seemed to be a legitimate question. Here's what we've learned since the mid-90s. The debate is over. A lot of those claims are specious, and frankly, a lot of the anti-climate change research isn't really research, it's just propaganda funded by the oil industry. As more millennial Republicans are getting elected, you see a generational shift on climate change.
I am one of the Republican leaders when it comes to making climate change an important issue for our colleagues.
Another factor pushing the conversation has been the so-called Green New Deal, championed by Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But even Republicans who believe climate science oppose the regulations proposed by that resolution. Gaetz has introduced his own conservative alternative called the Green Real Deal.
I believe AOC called my proposal lame and weak, and I can assure you I've been insulted by even cooler people than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think there's a fundamental disagreement on strategy. Neither the Green New Deal nor my Green Real Deal are actionable bills that you can pass in absentia of any other reform. There is an underlying disagreement as to whether or not our best hope out of this leans heaviest into regulation or innovation, but on trade, on improving the grid, on democratizing access to federal land for new and clean tech research and development, there may be some areas we agree.
I feel this coming together with Republicans joining in with some of the solutions at this time.
However, Tonko says he doesn't think a comprehensive climate plan will become law while President Donald Trump is in the White House.
I don't believe it. You don't believe it? No, I don't believe it.
It's a comprehensive climate plan that we will develop over a longer stretch, hopefully in the next year or two, while President Trump occupies the White House and is a science denier. I think that gives us time by which to create that plan.
History will judge harshly my Republican colleagues who deny the science of climate change.